You're listening to Permission to Heal, proudly brought to you by Ally Therapy, where brave human stories around mental health meet expert insight. And I'm Kelly, your host and registered psychotherapist at Ally. Join us in a space to speak freely, connect deeply, and heal in community. We got Susan Albom with us. She is one of my incredible coworkers. Fellow registered psychotherapist, associate therapist at Ally. And we're going to go over her brave human story of transitioning from happily married, finding this amazing love of her life, into terminal illness, caretaking, and transitioning into grief. So let's start with a little bit about your relationship before the illness.
Okay. And for anyone that's already thinking, oh, I think I'm going to click off of this podcast because it's going to be depressing. It will have moments, but we're going to try to keep this upbeat and real. So I met, Jeffrey was my second husband. I had been married before. We met. We're super, super happy. And he unexpectedly had a medical event that led us to realize that he had terminal brain cancer. And that pretty much rocked our world. I mean, we were given a diagnosis on that day that he had 18 to 24 months to live. And that just started off a fury of appointments, surgeries, treatments. And this was like on the cusp of starting my internship.
Yeah.
I was almost done with my master's. I was just starting the practicum part of it. So it was like a full screeching stop to everything. It was just like a complete shakeup. Like if you imagine a snow globe, like someone took it and just like shook it and shook it. And that's what life felt like completely like unrecognizable in that moment.
As a human, how do you handle that?
My thoughts went initially to him. I feel like the access to my feelings went kind of numb.
Sure.
And I think that was adaptive. I think it was okay. I was aware that was happening. I shifted to taking care of him and making sure he was emotionally okay, that the kids were okay, and that all of the detaily things were dealt with, and there were lots. I'm not trying to say I didn't deal with it at all. I certainly did, but my coping mechanisms were staying busy. And yeah, I would say that was a big one. Just keeping busy with things so I didn't have to think too much about the difficult stuff.
Yeah, that's something sometimes cool about humans is when something so significant happens that is so demanding of you as a person. Your parts, if you want to use parts language, your instincts, they shift and they help you adapt and do your best in this horrible situation.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it felt like. I mean, my parts pretty quickly, if there was a glass of how much grief and pain I could tolerate, it filled up very quickly. And my system was like, nope, you're full. Like, let's stay busy. Let's stay busy. Let's watch Netflix. Let's just clean and let's, try to keep things normal and stay chipper and stay, efficient. I will say, though, I did join a brain cancer support group, which was very helpful for caregivers. So that was a space where I could express my feelings and share. And I also got into therapy right away, like grief-focused therapy.
Tell me about the power of that community, of that group. Why should people, if they're going through a huge transition like this, find that niche place to go and be with people who are experiencing something similar? What's the point?
The point is they get it. They get it. And they get, it was just a place where I could say whatever I was feeling and know that I wouldn't be judged because they probably felt the same way too. I don't wish anyone to know what it feels like to have a spouse, to go through this. And so, but sometimes people said things that I can give them grace. I know, like, logically they were trying to be helpful, but it wasn't. And so yeah, support groups are lovely. It's a really good space to just, in a safe way for, again, using parts work language. It's letting my caregiving parts get some support.
What is that role like in the day to day, and how does it feel? What's that emotional tone of being in that role?
Well, I will first say it changed a lot over the 18 months. I mean, at first it was, I would say the thing that was constant was the sense of hypervigilance,
Okay.
like
On
always
edge.
making, looking to make sure, are there any changes? Is there anything that I'm overlooking? Is there mostly changes in his health, trying to stay on top of things, also not letting things fall, like not missing
Mm-hmm.
steps, processes, trying to think of every possible thing that I would need to do to make sure that he was, doing as well as he could. And it was like my husband, Jeffrey, wanted to just live life as normally as he
Sure.
could. So I tried to shield him from a lot of the phone calls and the meeting. So it was like me doing a lot of research, learning stuff, and then sharing, okay, do you want to do this or this? Like, this one or this one. Like that's what made him feel like he didn't want to be heavily involved in all of that.
Okay.
So I took that on.
Sounds like you kind of became like the manager of his care a little
I was
bit.
100% the manager of his care. Yeah, I was. And it was very isolating too because no one else was involved.
You didn't have a co-manager.
I did not have a co-manager. I would say that it's possible that I could have had one, but I also was going through my own thing of not wanting to burden my kids. They were really the only ones that could have been co-managers in this. Um, Yeah, I mean, this is part of my own growth as a human being of noticing my patterns of not wanting to ask for help, not
Yeah.
wanting to be vulnerable, not wanting to bother or burden others with my stuff. Um,
But
I pot
burdening yourself, possibly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, at times, yes. I eventually learned that talking is better than not talking, but it took me a while to get there.
Was this role something you and Jeffrey explicitly talked about? Was it kind of learned as you two were messily navigating this process?
Yes and no. I mean, Jeffrey felt terrible. I mean, he could not have apologized more. He apologized at least 20 times a day
Mm,
for this, for how it's disrupting our life, how, like, what it's doing to me, what it was doing to us, and he had so much guilt and he just felt so badly. And I mean, almost to the part that it was like getting annoying. Like parts of me were
yeah.
just like, okay, like, but I had to let him say it because that was part of his process. My thought he kept saying, like, "Let me do what I still" it's like, I want things to be normal until they're not. The thing is, though, like, with brain cancer, his perception of his abilities was changing, like, what he thought he was doing well, he wasn't always doing well,
Sure.
but he didn't know that. So,
Yeah.
it became a bit of a song and a dance of how to, keep his esteem good and keep him safe at the
Yeah.
same time, and that felt yucky. It kind of felt like the way you manage a child in some ways, like, this was later on,
Mhm.
but that felt yucky. I mean, the relationship changed over time too as the tumor progressed. I mean, subtly, not subtly, it did. I mean, it just, went from being a person who would do anything. I mean, just like lived and breathed for my happiness. And, we were just a team and did
Yeah.
everything together to just not, just not.
Yeah, it completely
Just not.
shifts the
Yeah.
dynamic.
Yeah. I mean, just so many things that he normally would have done with me, for me, he just didn't do, and didn't even faze him that he wasn't doing it. And that was, I mean, at the outset, it felt hurtful. It was like, "Don't you realize I'm doing all this stuff?" And then I
Yeah.
realized, "Okay, you don't realize." Like, you don't realize. And that was hard because he still looked normal, but he was acting different. So, this type of cancer, he never really looked sick. So,
That comes with it its own challenges of something being an invisible illness and you
mhm.
really having to shift your understanding of who your husband is and shift your expectations and really accept where you are.
And, in therapy circles, they refer to this as anticipatory grief, right? I mean, I was grieving the relationship that we had, and he was still alive. Like, he was still
Yeah,
there and still my husband, but parts of our marriage were just very different. I mean, emotionally,
of
just very,
course.
very different. I mean, towards the end, I mean, certainly I was taking on many more tasks, many more roles, things of that nature. But just even, I mean, for someone who, I mean, I'm not afraid to say, I mean, could not keep his hands off of me, I would have to, like, if we were sitting watching TV, I'd have to take his hand and put it on my leg because he just wouldn't think to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That must have felt hurtful, although it's not meant to be hurtful, but it would be human to experience that as an
Yeah.
ouch.
It definitely was, it was a big ouch. It was a big ouch. And, of course, when you're feeling hurt, who do you want to tell but your best friend? But
Yeah.
hard to say that to him.
What do you wish people knew about this caregiving role?
Well, I think that on the outside, they can look like they've got it together and they're holding it together, and they might be, but they might not be. And yeah, that appearances aren't always the truth.
And how can somebody who is in a circle of somebody in a caregiver role,
Mhm.
if that's the truth, if the truth is on the outside, it might look like we're doing all the things, we're okay. But on the inside, it feels like everything's falling apart. How can somebody on the outside do their best to support you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give an example. Like, if anyone ever said, "Oh, let me know if there's anything I can do, blah, blah, blah."
You're probably not going to, because again, also, Susan, you're
Right. I'm just like, well, number one, you're putting me on the spot. I don't know what I need right now. And just my personality is like, I'll just do it myself. Like, I've got it. It's okay. It's okay. That was just my thing. It's okay. I can handle it. Those were like my two things that got me through. But I think if someone were to say, like, if you ask for specific things, like, I'm taking my dog for a walk. Do you want me to come out and take yours as well? If
mm,
that's a thing, just
mhm.
to not have to do the big dog walk, or I'm taking my dog to the dog park. Do you want me to come and pick up your dog and I'll drop her off after?
I'm making a lasagna. Do you
Yeah, I mean, I
want half?
remember one person that I barely knew just said, "I'm making minestrone soup and butternut squash soup. Which do you like better? I'm gonna come and I'll just leave it at your door frozen so you can just put it in your freezer." And it was, and they did, like, they gave me 4 packages, like, just like dollar store containers that I could
Yeah.
throw out afterwards of the delicious homemade soup. And, I didn't have to socialize. She just left it at the door. It was so thoughtful. It was
Yeah.
like, that was really, really, really nice. Like, that one stuck out in my mind. I mean, "Hey, I'm on my way to Costco. What do you need?" That type of stuff.
Almost not presenting it as a question,
Right.
saying, "I'm supporting you, and
Right.
here's how I'm gonna do it," which is not asking anything of you, right? You don't
Yes.
need to socialize, you don't need to make a decision, or you can make this really small decision.
Mhm.
But I'm doing this.
Yeah. There were things that people said and did that were and weren't helpful also.
Give me some examples of stuff that wasn't helpful.
I know what you're going through. Yeah. I mean, you know what? Even if they have the exact same lived experience, they're not me and I'm not them to that point too. So that one was super annoying.
Mhm.
Um, or, oh, I can't imagine. How are you doing this? I couldn't do this myself. I could never be as strong as you.
So now I'm trying to tell you that you could do this
I
and
don't
you are
know.
strong. I'm caring
I'm
for you now. That feels
exactly.
confusing.
Exactly. I'm just like, what am I supposed to say to this?
Yeah.
And then that gives me no room to not be strong. Like people
Yeah.
that keep saying, "Oh, you're so strong." I mean, I know I presented as strong. I fully know that. But the more people told me that I'm so strong, I'm just like, okay, I'd cross another person off the list I can be vulnerable with. Right?
Yeah. And more isolating.
Kind of like, or just more reinforcing that that's what's expected. And, sometimes it is expected to be strong. Like when he's falling apart or the family's falling apart, I did need to be strong, but not all the time, not all day, not 24/7. Like that wasn't good for me. Like I needed to know, who I could fall apart with and, just to be okay with that. Or even if I fell apart on my own. I mean, like, goodness, the car was like I'm surprised I didn't short circuit my, like, electrical
With
system
the
with all the
tears?
tears I had in the car. But, like, something about the car,
Yeah, it's private though. Like it's
it's
private.
private, you're not double multitasking, it's like you're only focusing on driving, and then
Yeah.
the feelings come, right? So, other things that I think that was a hard one. Goodness, like, after
He'll be okay. It'll be okay. Did people ever try to
oh.
reassure you that things were going to be okay, although he had a terminal?
Yeah, thank you. That was really super annoying because I understood and accepted what this was right from the beginning. Like I had done a ton of research and realized that, people might live a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, but most people don't live beyond 5 years. And the people that are living in the 5 years are people that were much younger than him, like people that were getting this in their 30s or 40s. So I accepted what it was, but a lot of people were pulling the hope merchant on me. Don't give up hope. Don't say that. When I was trying to prepare them, oh, he
Mhm.
looks so good. Oh, maybe, they're doing this new treatment. Oh, he's going to respond. Or, and just having to say no, like, this is what it is. No,
Yeah.
don't say that. Don't give up. Never give up. Then I felt like crap for, I'm like, am I giving up? Am I being
Yeah.
realistic? Like, what is this? So that was hard. That was a tough one. And, I understand some people's identities are such that they need to always have hope and I get that and it felt really crappy to be like, "No, he's going to die." Like, I know he's going to die. I don't know exactly when, but that is a reality. And so it felt disingenuous to me to be like, "Okay, yeah, you're right. I need to always keep hope." But the way I just changed it is when they were talking about hope, I just changed it in my mind to hope for as many good days.
Mm.
Hope for comfort for, all the way through, like not ever having pain or hope for being able to say, meaningful goodbyes to everyone that was important to him. That's what I hope for.
Beautiful shift. I like that
Yeah.
shift a lot. You're
Yeah.
taking that feeling that they're trying to give you in a misguided way, in an unhelpful way, but you're making it work for you.
Right. And, I think my training in therapy has taught me that everything that people said that made me want to punch them in the face was said with good intentions.
Yeah.
Our society does a really poor job of teaching us about death, about
It does.
grief, about, being a caregiver because death and grief, death is done in hospitals for the most part. Like, it's not, people don't die in the homes as much, or, even if they are, there are people, doctors, nurses coming in to care for
Mhm.
people. So people don't know, like the families aren't involved in care. Like,
Yeah.
my kids, his kids, they didn't know, like, the nurses were coming in, I was doing stuff, but they didn't really know, and I didn't want them to know t for some they didn't need to know everything.
Well, you have that caretaker part of you that wants to
That's right.
protect, especially the kids, right?
That's right. That really was that there was a lot of like that part was not happy.
Yeah.
It was hard balancing that,
Yeah.
caring for him, caring for them and not enough for myself at times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think what kept me sane was going to the gym, starting to run, taking, consistency with, I have a dog, we have dogs, well, I still have the dog. Just the consistency of walks and needing to take care of her, and doing that. That was a hard thing, realizing when I couldn't, when he couldn't take her out by himself anymore. That was a tough one.
It's those like small changes in something that's kind of in your everyday and part of the fabric of your relationship in your daily life. And when those change, it hits hard.
I mean, when he had to stop driving, it bothered him more than me because I was not comfortable with him driving. But the dog was a hard one.
Yeah. What was something surprising for you?
I think what was surprising was all of the shoulds I had in my mind of how I should be acting, how I should be feeling, like that I had picked up along the way, from society, from, I don't know, family, whatever, and realizing that there's no should.
Yeah, where does that even come from? You've never done this.
Right? And I think the thing that was difficult was I think that started from really like days when I felt so excited and elated in my new career, coming out of a session and feeling great. It's like I'd be telling him, it's like, oh my God, this is so great. And blah, blah, blah. And then like my brain would be like, oh my God, you have cancer. I forgot about that. It's like there were times when he was stable that I literally he seemed normal. Like, after he had his treatment and his surgery, he was normal for about 6, 9 months. And then it was like, oh my God, I forgot about this. So it's like those things, like, how can I forget? And yet, how can I feel happy? Like, I'm feeling happy today. How can I feel happy? My husband has brain cancer. Like, I shouldn't be feeling happy, but I am happy. Like, and so just all of those weird moments. And I find myself using that word weird a lot. And it's such a strange word. I remember reading about that in, other grief work I had done before he became sick, and that word was used, and I said, "That's a very imprecise word," but it's just the best word. Like, once you've gone through it, it's just everything's just weird. It flops around.
It sounds like you had to get really comfortable holding opposite emotions at once because you were in a really complex situation where you were going through something that was so significant for you.
Yes. Yes. And I realized also that a couple of things helped me really get through this. Living in the land of uncertainty was really hard. Like, I am a planner. I like to be organized. And this whole thing, it's like, what are we doing? What's going on? Like, you live from MRI to MRI, not knowing. And then that was really hard, just living in the land of uncertainty. So just it did help me hone my mindfulness skills. And I would say it taught me a lot about, okay, like, let's stay in the here and now. Let's deal with what we've got today. The rest of this is not today's business. We're here. Like, we're here right now. Today is a day when, we're here.
Let's transition into this anticipatory grief, this huge shift for yourself in your relationship and your own identity into grief after Jeffrey passed.
Yeah. I mean, I think the anticipatory grief started with the diagnosis, like
Absolutely.
100%. Like, that was horrible. But certainly more so, I mean, as he became more and more ill at the end, I mean, anticipating when, how, what, Um, that was difficult. I mean, Jeffrey did choose to have medical assistance in dying, so I knew he wasn't going to suffer, and that was a blessing for both of us.
That was important. That
That
was
was
like a goal.
really, really, really important. Like, he was very, very clear on that. So that was a huge non-worry point. But yeah,
You're looking death right in the face. That's not something most of us experience. I have no question there. Just
no, I mean, we had some really, really hard, vulnerable conversations.
Yeah.
Like, if at what point would you not want to be here? Like, at what point would enough be enough for you? And, Jeff said, like, once I can't communicate with my kids or you, and then that's it. And he also said, once I'm physically a burden on you, like if it's unsafe in our home, because he also said he did not want our home to become like a hospital. He was very clear on that too.
Sounds like throughout the process, it is really important for each of you individually and also together to be clear on what's important, what your values are,
Right.
what your goals are during this process.
And they shifted from time
Yeah.
to time. I mean, things that seemed intolerable to him. I mean, at the beginning, he said, once I can't drive, I'm done. Like, that's what he initially said he wouldn't want to live.
Then it comes and you're like, no, honey, we're going to keep going.
He was an excellent front seat, back seat driver. He
Yeah.
would tell me, turn here, do this, do that. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, talk about shifts in roles. I mean, I became the driver. He was always my designated driver, anytime so that was like the end of my enjoying a few drinks with dinner and, whatever, or going out. Sometimes we'd take an Uber, but yeah, it changed things, in all the ways that I always teased him and said, okay, you're the responsible adult, the holder of the passports, that became my thing. And I did it with love and sadness at the same time.
And I'm sure humor.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Role of humor.
So much humor. Oh my God. Like, if you can't be crying, you got to be laughing, right? It's
Yeah.
like, or when you're done crying, you got to be laughing. And you can cry and laugh at the same time. Sometimes it's all you can do is laugh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I admire that about you a lot.
Yeah. What else is there? I mean, I really realized as a caregiver, he would pick up on my energy and my feelings and, come over and spank him on the butt and be like, hey, sexy, even like when he was so sick and everything. And that just always lightened the mood.
Needed.
Yeah.
Really, really needed.
Yeah.
So grief after the loss of someone. Hopefully all our listeners know grief does not come with any rules in any form. It comes the way that it's going to come, and your job is just to ride the waves of what it is like for you. So what were the waves like for you?
It's been almost a year. I will just preface that for anyone listening. At the time that we're recording this, and we're just coming up on almost a year since he died. There have been many waves. I mean, there was a lot of numbness at the beginning. There's a lot of admin and paperwork and a lot of stuff that kept me busy, like matters of the just things that I had to tend to, just financial things and paperwork and sending death certificates here, there, and everywhere. And that was that took up a lot of time. Certainly the holidays, the birthday, all the firsts. I mean, I've made it through all of the firsts now.
Sounds like ups and
a wedding, and a wedding. His daughter got married. Like, my stepdaughter got married 2 weeks ago, which was such a joyful, beautiful thing, and so sad that he wasn't there. But, it was like he saw her. One of the last times he opened his eyes was when his daughter and her sister were at the bridal shop, and she tried on the gown that we bought her. And so she FaceTimed us, and I was kind of waking him like, open your eyes, Erin's got her gown on. And he gave a cute little smile and then closed his eyes again. So yeah.
What a significant event with, my gosh, talk about mixed emotions. There's so much joy, but also
Yeah.
sorrow.
Yeah. It was a lot. It took I I was thankful. I had a very good cry before the wedding. I was
Perfect.
really worried that I was gonna lose it during the wedding.
Yeah.
Did not.
I actually remember talking to you about this.
I
Yeah.
showed up with love. I mean, there were some annoying moments, but mostly they were beautiful, and it was a lovely celebration, and he was very much lovingly remembered.
Congrats to
Yeah,
everyone.
thanks. It's been a journey. I mean, I'm kind of it's weird. I think, as someone in grief, the comment I hear a lot is, "Wow, like, you're doing so good. You're doing so well." And part of me thinks like, "Okay, is that a discredit? Like, does that mean like, oh, you didn't love him enough because 'cause you're doing so well now?" Or I never know what to say to that one.
I really struggle to figure out what they're trying to
I know there's a compliment
say.
in there somewhere. It just
Yeah.
doesn't come across like, I know that. Like, I know it's not like a sarcastic.
Maybe it's like, I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
I
it's like,
admire you.
you're showing up for
Keep
life.
doing keep
Yeah,
doing what you're doing.
right. Keep up the strong work and whatever. Or I see
Yeah.
you. Like,
That word strong, I want to return back to just for a second because, right, I think there's that misunderstanding that strong is when, you're doing the things and you're not showing the sorrow, the sadness, the grief, all of those more uncomfortable emotions.
mhm,
And then it's weak when you're showing those emotions. To me, it's strong to acknowledge you're a human and you're having a human experience,
right.
and then to actually allow the emotion to do what the emotion is supposed to do.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, mourning is any external expression of grief. Grief is an inside job, more feelings.
Yeah.
Mourning is anything to express the grief. So crying is mourning, like journaling, going to therapy, screaming, doing rituals, listening to me, any of that is stuff that helps process the grief. And the grief doesn't go away. You learn to live with it.
Yeah.
And, the more you can be with it, the more you can learn to strengthen, grow around the grief. Like it doesn't go away, right? But the mourning is important. Like you have to.
How do you mourn right now in where you are today? Because I know
Yeah.
that's probably going to change.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like every time I walk my dog in nature,
Yeah.
that's part of it because that just does it for me. I'm sorry. It's by talking about him. Yeah. By doing this podcast.
Yeah. Podcast is
Yeah.
called Permission to Heal.
Yeah, it is. And, I think part of the way I know that this is fine, I don't feel embarrassed for showing my tears. I don't feel any sense of weirdness about it. It's healthy and normal. I would be more concerned for myself if I wasn't. So that is growth. That is a way that I know for sure I have grown and changed a lot over the year. I know I have strengthened a lot to the point that I can and am working with clients with as specific situations as a husband with brain cancer. I mean, I do legitimately have a client being treated who
Wow.
yeah, so I can hold space and that's a gift that I didn't want.
No.
But,
You
it
have it though.
I have it, and, from the place where if I can, just get really grounded and, spiritually, tap into my spirituality and, the idea that I hate it when people say everything happens for a reason. That one pisses me off. But
Why?
because it makes me feel like he was meant to die in that particular phrase. But it's actually probably true. But it's just kind of like knowing that, the path is continuing to unfold. And for some reason, it was important that I went back to school at the time I did, that we got our dog, that with my interest in grief therapy that started before his illness, that now I have had this journey that's making me so much more impactful as a therapist, able to hold space for people going through similar things is it's important. Like it's important work to give back. I'm even I think I'm going to become a peer support
Oh
as a
my
volunteer. Yeah, in a
gosh.
volunteer capacity. I feel really passionately about that program.
Yeah.
So that's something in the works at the maybe. At
Exciting.
the maybe. I'm gonna go through the interview conversation and see
Yeah.
how it feels. But
That's said so perfectly, right? You have these ideas of things or these interests or areas that you might want to explore, but it's, yeah, I'm going to try it out and see how it feels and see if it feels right for me at this time. And if it does, going for it. If not,
I would say like one of the biggest lessons I've learned is about expectations and not holding on to expectations too tightly in terms of what life is supposed to be like,
yeah.
because sometimes it's not. And that doesn't necessarily, and not attaching meaning to that either.
Yeah. Because sometimes the world, people may agree or not agree, but sometimes the world is random.
Yeah, sometimes it sucks, like big time. And, liking and accepting are two totally different
Oh, for
things.
sure.
But if I accept, okay, this is how it is, this is what's happening. And that's something I did from the beginning that I think really helped me. Someone very early on said, you will suffer less if you can accept that this is what it is
Yeah.
and you don't have to like it. And 'cause then I didn't have to fight against it.
Yeah. I really do believe in work on acceptance because you put it so well. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. When we're fighting what is, when we're spending our mental energy, our time, our emotions on fighting what is, it makes that experience worse. It takes the
Yeah.
pain and it piles a bunch of suffering on it. And when we accept and we can say, it is, here's all my emotions about it.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah. And, I'm kind of sitting a little bit like you asked how I am today. I'm kind of sitting in the, okay, now what? Like, I feel like, if you'd talked to me 6 months ago, I would have said, I'm barely keeping my head above water. Like, that's
Wow.
the truth. Like, I was like, it was rough. And now I feel like, okay, like I've made it out of the water. I'm sitting on a rock, it's looking pretty. I'm like, okay. And I'm catching my breath, right? And I'm just having a moment of, okay, like family's okay, work is good. All right, like what's next? And,
Yeah.
no immediate answers are coming down the pipeline, and that's okay. I have ideas, I've got stuff, but I'm not, I feel peaceful
And it's okay to
with.
just be on that rock and be looking at the
Yeah.
horizon.
Yeah, I feel like it's a moment of it's like kind of just like a season of bobbing along on a raft in the middle of a lake, peaceful lake, soaking up the sun, kind of recharging, kind of like a late summer warm sun vibe, and figuring out which path is going to be the next one. Like I can see there are several, many even, with different possibilities. And as long as I just intend to live fully for Jeffrey in the way that I promised him I would,
Yeah.
and the way that he can't,
Yeah.
and and live.
You're doing
And
it.
and yeah, I feel like it's a tribute to him and to our love to live. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for hearing my story.
Oh my gosh, no problem. This podcast is proudly brought to you by Ally Therapy, where we believe that shame shrinks when we share our stories in safe spaces, and that every Canadian should have access to affordable therapy. Join the over 38,000 Canadians who have found their perfect therapist match through our personalized matching quiz at ally.io. That's ALLI.io, because you always have permission to heal.